Welcome to another episode of the Dope Student Podcast.
Hi, my name is Tyler.
Hi, my name is Jemiah.
Hi, my name is Clea.
And welcome to the Dope Student Podcast.
Welcome to the Dope Student Podcast. Today we're thrilled to have Isiah Morgan, a master carpenter, a general contractor, a successful entrepreneur. Isiah's journey from childhood inspiration to building multiple businesses, including a general contracting company, transportation company, a real estate investment company, is nothing short of inspiring. He's here to share his expertise, life lessons, and passions for teaching youth about the trades and entrepreneurship. If you're curious about turning your life challenge into opportunities, mastering your craft, and becoming a leader, you won't want to miss this episode.
Isiah, can you introduce yourself and tell us about what sparked your interest in carpentry and contracting as a child?
Hello, my name is Isiah Morgan. I'm the owner of multiple different businesses, general contracting company, real estate investment company, and a transportation company. What sparked my interest in construction early on was my family purchased a business. We had a restaurant business, a pizza shop early on when we was young, and we purchased it from a masonry company. And they did a lot of masonry work as far as with stone and gravel, concrete pavements, and things like that. And automatically it struck my interest. Just watching them develop, they had a family-orientated business. They was very wealthy. They was able to provide for their family, and it struck an interest early on.
Your family pizza shop and contracting business played a big role in your early inspiration. How did those experiences shape your work ethic and passion for the trades?
So it really taught me business early on. I was able to learn the concept of business because learning carpentry and construction, it really doesn't teach you the business side. So I was actually privy to learn the business side early on, learning stock, inventory, employees, and process like that. Just being able to run your own company really sparked my interest early on.
What motivated you to transition from employee to entrepreneur and start your own businesses?
I always had a passion to do things on my own, and I kind of never wanted to work under people. So I knew I had to create a platform that I was able to exploit my skills. So you got to put in a lot more work in order to start your own business. But it was a motivation that I wanted to be able to provide for my family and be that changing stone in my family dynamics to create generational wealth.
You overcome personal challenges to achieve success. Can you share how you turned those obstacles into stepping stones?
Yes, so early on when I was a young child, I dealt with a lot of anger and things like that growing up, trying to fit in with different kids and stuff like that. So I used to get into a lot of nonsense fights and things like that. So I had to learn how to trigger that anger and that energy into something positive because it actually took me down the wrong path and made some mistakes early on in life. And, in high school, unfortunately, I was incarcerated. And for, unfortunately, a simple fight, something as simple as getting into a fight with another person, and it actually escalated to another level, and that man lost his life, unfortunately. And I had to go to prison for that. So when I was in prison, I actually learned a lot about being more patient, and if I was ever blessed to have a different opportunity, I would lead more by example with the children and with the community and public, because that's an example of something so small as a little disagreement and argument can change your whole life dynamics, and it makes it very hard for you to scale to get to the next level. So I had to work extra hard to reach the platforms where I'm at because I made the mistakes early on. So it's best to just try to stay focused, keep good people around you, and just listen to mentors that's trying to lead you the right way, because a lot of things I didn't understand at a young age, I understand now.
What advice would you give young people who are hesitant to pursue careers in trades like carpentry and construction?
Go for it. It's simple when you just get out in the field. When you overthink it, I know in the classroom sometimes the paperwork side could seem like a lot and overbearing, but actually when you get out in the field, it's so fun to be hands-on and see how things get created. I know y'all get small examples in the classroom when you could take a small wall and frame it and put electrical to it and things like that. But when you start being able to do that on full development projects, it feels good to see it work and for you to create a process and a team that can carry out that.
You mentioned the importance of hands-on learning. How has this approach shaped your career and teaching style?
Uh, Hands-on learning is very, very key. It's very important because as for myself, when I was in school, I actually went back to school also. I took all the steps. So I learned in the field, then I actually went back to school for a couple of years, then I came out in the field and I worked for another company. But when I came from out of school and I got in the field, things seemed totally different. When y'all get out of school and y'all get into that field, don't be discouraged. It's going to seem different. Everything is not uniform like the classroom. The classroom is 16 on center. Every angle is right. Every corner is right. When you get into rehabbing, it's a lot different. So that hands-on experience is key. Get out there, learn it, get the feel of it. Once you get out there for your first year or two, it's all downhill.
What are some key milestones in your career that helped you become a successful business owner?
Key milestones is, I would say, family first, creating a family. I'm married. I have 3 children and 1 on the way. My oldest child is 23 years old. I actually had him young in the 12th grade also, the same year I made mistakes. So it's a lot that y'all can pick up from me. Don't have a child at a young age. It is very, very hard. My son actually grew up with me. So through high school, I had to go home, change Pampers, do all that, plus go to work, plus still learn. So it's very hard. Take your time. But my children and my family has been like a very strong milestone for me to strive and go hard for them and provide different opportunities for my kids.
Leadership is a recurring theme in your work. What qualities do you think make a great leader in construction or any field?
Hands-on leadership. I believe that just because you're the boss don't mean don't get in there and work with your crew. If you get in there and work with your crew and be hands-on with them, you'll get a better outcome. Think about it. If you got a room full of people and you're just telling them what to do all day, eventually they'll get tired of that. But when you get down there and you show them that you literally know what you're talking about and know how to do it also, they'll respect the process a little more. So leading by example with a hands-on is the best way to be for me.
You've worked with students who went on to start their own businesses. How does it feel to see your mentorship make such a lasting impact?
Yes, it's great. It feels good. So about me and about 7 other business owners, we started a program called Philly Youth Trade Access. We had about 360 students come out. I had 100 kids in my carpentry class. I want to say out of them 100 kids, I employed about 15 of them, and then about 10 of them went along to start working also. And out of that 15, 5 of them narrowed it down. 2 of them own a business. 1 is in Atlanta, Georgia, and the other 4 is in Philadelphia. But it feels good, like when they out in the field and they get stuck, sometimes they'll call me for guidance or I'll go to their locations to help them. I'm all about empowering the youth, and any information that I can give y'all and, guide y'all is a blessing. But it feels very good to watch students or young men or women that I've, taught certain things prevail.
What do you believe are the most important skills young people should develop to succeed in construction or contracting?
So, most important skills to obtain. 1 is being able to take direction. As long as you can take direction, you'll be okay in the construction field. You just have to be able to implement it. So, if you have a basic idea of the concept of whatever you're building or creating, then if someone gives you an example how to do it, it's actually a little bit easier. So,
Real-world exposure has been key to our success. How can schools and programs better integrate fieldwork and hands-on experiences for students?
it'll be good. Like anything in the field work with y'all would be actually good. Again, learning in the classroom is good, but once y'all get out into the field, you're going to fall more in love with it. Right now, it's a classroom setting. But when you get out there and you're able to start working, and then in construction and contracting field, it's not someone constantly over your shoulder. Like if you're in the office sitting behind a desk or something like that, and then your supervisor constantly standing there, you got kind of like freedom to work at your own leisure. So if I was the owner and I come in and I ask you to frame that wall, by the end of the day, I really don't care what you do in between, as long as by the end of the day, the wall is framed. So hands-on is very great in the field for students and men and women.
You're passionate about showing how mistakes don't define us. What's your message to students who might feel discouraged by setbacks?
So setbacks will be discouraging. One thing, you just got to have confidence in yourself. You got to believe in yourself. Through all my trials and tribulations, I understood my capabilities and I understood the good things about myself. So setbacks is not a bad thing. A setback is just a lesson. So if you take the time to see what it is that's setting you back, it actually can help you scale to higher levels than you ever imagined. Because sometimes it's not a setback. It's just a lesson that you have to figure out. And once you figure that lesson out, you can actually scale it to a whole new level. So setbacks are good as long as you embrace them right.
What do you love most about being a carpentry and contractor? And how do you balance that passion with your other business?
So what I love most about carpentry and contracting is the aspect of being able to watch something develop, to start off from nothing. So if we was doing a new development project, you actually would come to a lot where it's just dirt, no property, no nothing. So to see that property actually be turned around from the excavation, putting the footers in, digging the walls, the foundation, and then being able to frame up and develop the building, it actually feels very good. And that's one of the things that I love in the field.
Outside of work, you have a love for music, competitive sports, and family time. How do these interests influence your work-life balance and creativity?
Okay, before I answer that question, one more thing you did say about balancing the businesses. That is very hard too. I just want to make that clear to y'all. So for me, I have to work extra hard now because I own multiple businesses. So it's like when I'm done at one company, I also still have to transition over to another company. So when you're at the top and you own the business, you actually work more hours than anybody who works for you. So you're the first one to come out and the last one to go in. So it's not like a time frame to your work, but it's very lucrative. You can make a lot of money if you balance things out, and you want to try to create some type of business that channels to the people. So when you have businesses that channel to the people, they will constantly need your services, and you'll be able to scale. But your other question was, I'm sorry.
Outside of your work, you have a love for music, competitive sports, and family time. How do these interests influence your work life and balance and creativity?
So, when I say balance, it's like more like with music, it's just like a flow. It's like I actually have family members into music also, so I kind of actually had parts of a music record label and things like that. So I have a strong passion for music also, but I try to balance everything by just not doing too much of anything. I have to stay focused on the main objective, which is the companies and scaling the companies. So I don't spend too much time on other things, but on weekends and stuff like that, I try to balance it with my family and my kids and try to listen to some music and things like that.
Finally, what's one key takeaway you want listeners to remember about the opportunities available in the trades and the importance of work hard and perseverance?
So one of the things I want y'all to remember about the trade, that it's a lot of opportunity in the trade. So you could start off, as myself, I started off as a carpenter. I learned everything in the carpenter's field, so I became a master carpenter. But I also wanted to make more money. So I understood that if I only knew carpentry, I'm actually putting myself in a box and I can only make money off of carpentry. So what I did was further my education, learned plumbing, learned electrical, learned HVAC, fire suppression, sprinkler system, all of those things. So now with me, I own a general contracting company. So we actually cover all aspects of construction. Doesn't mean I have to physically do it all the time. I just have to have the outlets to be able to get these projects done. But you have to have the basis of knowledge to be able to hire and ask another company to do as such.
And that's it for this episode. We'll see you in the next episode of the Dope Student Podcast.
Bye.
Thank you.